Hi everyone, my name is Jo. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Today I'm going to be giving you a timeless message. It's going to be in the pick a card form, and the reason why I felt like doing this is because, well, Halloween is coming up and I love Halloween, but also to honor those who celebrate the Day of the Dead as well, I would like to do a reading based on what your ancestors are trying to tell you. So we have three groups here. We have pyrite, fire quartz, and we have amethyst. And yeah, so just pick your pile and, you know, we'll get to your reading. And if you want to just skip around to your reading, you don't want to watch the whole video, that's fine. I put chapters below just for you. So yeah, but I would appreciate if you watched the whole thing, especially if you are nosy like me. But yeah, regardless, thank you for watching, and if your message resonates with you, don't forget to comment and like the video, as well as possibly book a reading from me if you you know, are just curious or want to know more about what I said, or something really just stuck with you and you would like some clarity or like an elaboration on that. But yeah, as always, well, not as always, I just started doing this, but I'm going to pull an oracle card so that we can see what everyone is dealing with, or really what the general message of the reading is. Wisdom and affinity. Duality teaches us that in order to love, we must bind together what differences us. That's interesting, especially since we have like the Gemini symbol, and then 6, which is, well, I don't know if you can see the 6, but the 6 is right here, which symbolizes love. And yeah, so your ancestors are reaching out to you to just tell you, like, pretty much chill out, be more accepting of people, have compassion, have empathy towards others, maybe even yourself. Maybe this is like a difference that you see within yourself, that you're, you know, maybe have like some sort of like insecurity or something like that, and it's not something that you're kind to yourself about. Or maybe there's just like an issue that's going on in your head and you feel as though like, or maybe, you know, you're a part of you is feeling as though you can't fully be yourself around other people, and your ancestors want you to know that it's okay, be who you are, be fully accepting of other people, and show others the love that you wish for in return. If you are the one being affected by judgment or ostracization, or, you know, the threat thereof, know that they love you and they have your back 100% fully, and that there's other people out there, you know, that are for you, and you don't have to cling on to the people who obviously don't want you or don't want you around. It's always nice to get rid of old baggage, but also to remember that just because they refuse to see you does not mean that you know, it's okay for you to do the same to them. You know what I mean? Like, be better, and love more. And yeah, so we're going to move on to the pyrite group. Again, if you want to see your, you know, pile or whatever, just click down in the description and skip to it if you feel like it. But we're going to move on to the pyrite group right now. Okay, pyrite group, let's see what you have. If you were curious about what tarot deck I'm using the Santa Muerte tarot deck. And it's very pretty. It's very, it's like beautifully illustrated. So yeah, so so we have the 5 of Cups, the Hangman, and the 2 of Cups. Love this card. It's so pretty. So here's the thing. What I'm getting from this is that you need to surrender completely. And know that you are loved and you are supported. So what I mean by surrendering completely, of course, we have the Hangman here, but I'm more so focused on this Five of Cups. It feels like you are having intense emotions right now, and they were triggered by something very important to you, whether that's an idea, whether that's a person or people in general, maybe it's an opportunity, something like that. Something is causing you to be overwhelmed, essentially, and to sort of be kind of feel as though you're trapped within your own mind. And, you know, you're kind of fighting it. You're trying to get out. You're trying to, like, you know, continue on with your life as if this thing is not affecting you, but you can't run from it. You know what I mean? Like, you're stuck here. And that's not a bad thing. In fact, your ancestors are encouraging you to sit with it and to explore this feeling more, to settle in and be comfortable, get familiar, understand where it's coming from, why it's come up, and why it's come up so intensely all of a sudden. Yeah, your ancestors really, really want you to be still. And that's period. Like, literally just be still and accept that you're in this situation, accept that you're having this reaction, accept that things are coming along, and maybe you're about to find out that there's a different perspective going on that you need to see. You know, maybe you need to have a shift in perspective around this one thing that is bothering you, or this one thing that's overwhelming you to think about. Maybe you need just like some more, either a change in perspective or someone with a different perspective to come in and help you with this situation. Here we have the Two of Cups, and with this Two of Cups, we're seeing obviously that this is a representation of love. So your ancestors are first and foremost telling you to move through this with love and to move with love, period. Take action out of love. Not from, you know, anything else during this point. Basically to follow your heart, and that deep down, you know, intuitively what's going on. Love is what's going to help you throughout all of this, whether that's loving yourself, loving, you know, where you are right now, even though it's not probably where you want to be, but loving where you are right now, seeing the beauty in where you are presently, appreciating the present moment, and eyeing all the beauty that is around you, and, you know, just being accepting of who you are, where you're at, and the ideas that are flowing through you at this current moment. Second thing with Two of Cups is that someone is there for you right now, that you can rely on, that will pour into you, that will give you this perspective change if you need, but you have to let them in. I know it can be hard feeling so overwhelmed. It can be hard to let other people in when you're in a state of like, it feels like too much is bubbling inside of you, and it might feel like letting someone in is going to spill you over. But in fact, it's not going to do that. Think of it instead of like you are overflowing with this intense emotion. If you let this other person in, think of it as if they're draining you from that emotion in a good way. Like they're actively taking it from you so that you are able to function, you are able to think clarity and have some clarity over the situation that has triggered such intensity. But yeah, so take on this person, really rely on them, know that they are, you know, this is a person that you are comfortable with through and through, that won't judge you, that won't criticize you in any way, and is completely 100% there for you no matter what. It might even be like relationship problems and you're just feeling as though things aren't right and it's scaring you, maybe. Or, you know, well, regardless of what it is, this person is there for you. And they want you to know that, and your ancestors also are like pushing you towards them. This person is not like this person is not someone that you feel as though you have to hide from. This is a person that you can be completely 100% honest with, completely open, down, you know, to the bare bones. So if you feel as though you are withholding from that person something, some aspect of your life, then that's not the person that you need to go to. Find your person. Does not have to be romantic at all, but find your person and, you know, just seek solace within them. So I'm going to do an oracle card for you. I love this deck. Okay. Perseus. Okay. Protect yourself from those who do not wish you well, yet offer your help to those who need it. Are you having a conflict within your family revolving boundaries? Revolving, you know, you are uncomfortable, but you feel obligated to do things that you really don't want to do because they're family or you've known them for a long time. Maybe they have seniority over you if this is like a work issue or something like that. You know, and whatever they've put you through or like what they're trying to get you to do, it might be something that was really pushing a boundary for you or has completely stepped over it. You need to, out of love, reaffirm your boundary or just affirm it if you have not done so. The reason is because this person respects you, loves you, etc. And if you don't set proper boundaries with said person, then they won't know that they're actively pushing you away consistently, especially with this thing that they've asked you to do or this thing you feel obligated to do for them. So the advice that's being given is to lay down the law, you know, allow this emotion to take over you, allow this emotion to go through, and, you know, just be open, like bring a new dialogue into the conversation and, you know, just display your boundary. Another thing is, if it's not something like that, we see that there is something revolving around helping others. So maybe you are, you know, torn between you know, like maybe you've seen something wrong and you're like, oh, I know that this is wrong, but I have a feeling somewhere deep down that is stopping me from correcting this behavior or correcting, you know, like whatever is amiss, you know that it's morally wrong, or just like something is just not right, and you want, you know, you feel the need to fix it, you feel the need to speak up, but something in you is holding you back. This is where this hangman comes in, where sometimes you just need, you know, some new eyes on the situation. Sometimes whenever we feel as though we can't do something even though we know that we should, or we can't stop something even though that we should, sometimes it feels a little bit overwhelming. Sometimes it feels as though we ourselves are bad people, but that's not the case. Not always. So with this hangman, what this hangman is trying to tell you is that you need to understand this feeling, where it stems from, that feeling that's holding you back, where it's coming from, and know how to work through it. See it from its own eyes, and then see it from your own morality, if that makes sense. Like, feel what this feeling is trying to tell you, understand where it comes from, and understand like your own sets of morals and what they're telling you is right, what is the right thing to do, and then with open eyes, with like an open mind, you know, maybe you've meditated a little bit so all that emotion is like died down a little, seek clarity and seek the truth on what it is that you should be doing. Whether it's, you know, following the feeling and just like stepping aside even though you know that the situation is wrong, which is not usually the case, or following, again, your heart, following, you know, the advice of the people who raised you, specifically maybe your grandparents, and or just like a parental figure in your life, and just, you know, go with what is right, go with what you were raised to do, you know, in this type of situation. Now, it could be sometimes things go against your, like, things that you are meant to do, things that you were grown up, like, raised to do. Sometimes they go against your newfound morality, or like your newfound moral standing, or just ideas and beliefs in general. Sometimes they do, you know, just go against that. And if that's the case, then you have to pour into yourself, you have to parent yourself back into, you know, you have to parent yourself back into, I guess what it's coming to me is like calmness, like mental peace, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You have to reparent that part of you, that feeling that's causing you some resistance. Get that over with. Say to your child or whoever, like your inner child or whoever is like, you know, learned that and, you know, is having some resistance to that. Just say, hey, I know that this is what we were told to do, but, you know, I'm in control right now and I believe that this is the correct response, you know, or I understand you, I hear you, but at this very point in time, we need to listen and follow my instruction, my direction. You know, like you have to sort of reparent yourself sometimes, and you have to understand that, you know, your parents your family can only raise you as well as maybe a little bit better than the environment that they were raised in. And sometimes that's, you know, they teach you things that are wrong. That happens, and it happens a lot. So whoever your feeling is coming from, wherever that feeling is like rooted in, do some child regression work, or, you know, do some like maybe like chakra healing or something around that if you feel it in one of those areas. And maybe even therapy would be good for this as well. And move from that space, you know, always move with love through that work. And that's pretty much your message. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you want a more in-depth reading, you can book with the link in the description, and we are going to move on. Thank you. Welcome to your timeless reading fire quartz group. I am so happy to have you, and I'm so happy to do this reading for you. So these two actually jumped out together, so I'm going to put them together like this. And so we have the 6 of Cups, the 5 of Wands, we have the Magician, and we have the Fool. Interesting. So what's being said to me is that, especially with these two, you are hiding something, or you're just too busy like accumulating your treasures of the past, and you need to let them go. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you're too busy focused on what could have been, too busy living within your memories and cherishing the nostalgia rather than your reality. And it's causing you to sort of like live in the past, basically. Now with this 5 of Wands here, this represents a passion. This represents something new coming into your life. Something like a new future that you've always hoped for, like a dream that you've always wanted to be fulfilled, and stuff like that. But you are not going to be able to do that if you don't let it go. So you need to work on releasing what no longer serves you, releasing the past, and coming back to the present. Having that sense of action, being mindful of where you are here and now, and understanding that it is within the now that action takes place, not in the past. You know, past actions are in the past. You can't change them. No matter how good the situation was, or, you know, no matter how bad the situation, you know, was in the past. You know, you can't change that. You can't continue to live there. You need to live where you're at. You need to be here and recognize that your life is happening now, not in the past. Although it's nice to reminisce on things, and, you know, memories are definitely a treasure. You just need a new spark, you need a new flame, and you need to see that your life has meaning. Your life is stagnant right now, and there's just something that you've always wanted, but you can't access because you're too busy focusing on what could have been, or, you know, focusing too much on a particular circumstance or something like that. You're too busy living in the past to understand that something like your dreams are about to come true. They're trying to find their way to you, but you can't accept them because you're holding on to baggage. You can't accept them because you're holding on to things that don't matter. You know what I mean? So we have the Magician here, and your ancestors are telling you that you have the power to start. Like, the Fool too, like, you have so much potential. And, you know, with this, like, usually, you know, the Fool and the Magician, it goes like 0, 1, you know, but it's backwards here. Even in like readings, you know, it's always the Fool first, then the Magician, but you have it switched. So it's like you have so much potential, but you're too busy holding on to shit that doesn't matter anymore. You're holding on to stuff that's not even going to, it has no purpose anymore. It only serves as a story. It only serves as a memory to help propel you into, you know, the things that you're trying to accomplish, the stuff that's on your path, the stuff that's on your journey, you know. So you're basically having to let go of all of this so you can start your journey over again. And the thing is that you have the power. You have so much potential to accomplish whatever you're trying to accomplish right now. But it's feeling like, you know, there's definitely like an uncertainty around, you know, what it is that you're trying to come in, you're call in and stuff. But that's the point, you know? You know what the past is, so you've been seated there for quite some time. But living in the present and looking towards the future, that's scary because you don't know what's going on there. But you have to trust, you have to have faith in yourself, and you have to, you know, love yourself enough to move on. Love yourself enough to take action, to act now in the present, to make moves in the present so that you can see a better life for yourself in the future. And that's what your ancestors are telling me, which is a very powerful and wonderful message. I'm going to pull an oracle card for you just so I can get, you know, some more. But this is a beautiful message because it means that something's on the horizon for you. And, you know, all you have to do is just reach out and grab it, pretty much. Of course, there's work that needs to be done. Obviously, with you letting go, you know, that's going to be quite a feat. But, you know, there's work that needs to be done, obviously, because, you know, you live here. You know, you live in a material, physical world. And, you know, things need to take place in order for other things to happen. So we have separation and conflict here with 12 up there. Turn your problems into opportunities. Treat hostility with kindness. So maybe you're just too worked up over something that you did in the past. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was like, you know, you just messed up, or you have like an embarrassing moment that you're holding on to that was like very important to maybe like a dream that you were holding on to or something like that. Like it maybe you choked up during a performance or something, and you always wanted to be an actor, or you always wanted to like put yourself out there and be famous or something like that, you know, just as an example. And you know, you choked up that one good time and you won't let it go. You know what I mean? Like, you can't let it go. But the thing is, everybody fucks up. Everybody messes up. And everyone, you know, goes through, you know, these ebbs and flows of their life where, you know, sometimes you just lose. Sometimes you have to take that L and you have to run with it. But the thing is, you always have to get up. You cannot dwell in this space of, you know, oh, what if it happens again? Because you don't know what's going to happen. And I think that scares you more than anything else. The uncertainty of not knowing if it's going to happen again is terrifying to you. But you have to get over it. You know, we cannot live in fear. We cannot live in the past and try to change the past, because that's never going to happen. You know, what we can only do is work here and now and work on ourselves to be better. You know, work on our lives to have better, to call in better. But you cannot do that if you're constantly just in your head, holding on to something that doesn't even really matter in the grand schemes of things. It was supposed to be a learning point for you, but you turned it into baggage. You turned it into baggage. And the thing here is that sometimes when things go bad, it's for our own good. Not to mean like, you know, your dream or something cannot happen. It just shows you that sometimes this is going to happen. And what you do when that thing does happen matters. How you approach adversity matters. So whenever you fall down, you don't just lie there. You don't just wallow in pain. You don't just like wait for somebody to come pick you up, even though there might be someone around that's capable of doing so and willing and, you know, wanting to do so. What you will do, what you have to do is accept that it hurt. Accept that it hurt, it sucked, and you're probably embarrassed and everybody saw it. Accept that. Accept that, okay, I fucked up and it's really, really affecting me. And get up. Get up and fix the problem. And if you can't fix the problem, if there's no problem to fix, find one. You know, whenever we're faced with these opportunities, there's always something that we can go after, something that we can grab onto. It's like turning your weaknesses into your strengths. You know what I mean? Think about it this way. When a kid falls off a bike, parents are at home, kid falls off a bike, scrapes their knee. Are they going to just sit there and wallow in pain and wait for the parents to come home? No. That's not what's going to happen. That kid is going to cry, obviously. Cry, maybe curse if they're, you know, old enough to do so, old enough to know how to. Get back home, open the first aid kit, and bandage themselves up. That's it. And call mom, call dad, whoever, and let them know that an accident occurred. That's what's going to happen. Did they fall off a bike? Yes. Sure, that's fine. But they also learned how to take care of themselves, how to depend on themselves, and, you know, obviously first aid and whatever. But also they learned that things happen and you have to just take it with stride and do the best you can in any given situation. So with all of this, just know that sometimes when a weakness is exposed of yours, that is an opportunity for you to turn it into a strength. That is an opportunity for you to use it to your advantage. How you do that is completely up to you, and if you do that is completely up to you. But recognize in this space and time that, yeah, maybe you did fuck up, but it's okay because you're going to stand up and walk away from the situation with something. Walk away with it with something. Whether that's a bruised ego, sure, that's fine. You know, sometimes we all need a little bit of humbling. But that's a bruised ego or, you know, a new opportunity in hand, you know, that's completely up to you. But what matters right now is that you act, you move forward, you move on, and you keep working in the present and looking towards the future. You keep being mindful of the here and now while continuing to grasp the opportunities ahead of you so that you can build your future brick by brick. Stop holding on to your past and focus on the life that's ahead of you. And that is your message that your ancestors are trying to tell you. Thank you so much for watching, and if you would like any sort of elaboration on this, feel free to book a reading with me in the description. And again, thank you so much for watching, and we're going to move on. Amethyst group, welcome to your reading, and we're just going to go straight into it. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to give you this message. Oh, I love this. Okay, hold on. No, because I love this so much. So here's the thing with this Eight of Swords, it's representing a conflict. Well, it could be two things. A conflict that's bubbled up and you need to express it and deal with it, or a decision that you made that you may or may not feel a little bit of regret around. Not saying that you did the wrong thing, but you are having a hard time accepting that choice was made. So with this Eight of Swords, it's like you need to let it go. You know what I mean? You need to understand that sometimes you need to confront something, and you need to be upfront with like a feeling and an issue that may arise or has been like deep down in your heart, something that you've been like having a little bit of agitation with. You know, sometimes you need to just accept that it's there and fix the problem. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like you don't understand how and when conflict is used to your advantage. It's like going into a war and not fighting. What's the point of the war then, you know? You've raised up such an issue with the opposing forces. You've raised up like this huge thing, this huge conflict, all of this tension, all of this energy is, now being used and is now just sitting and it's stagnant, it's like ready, it's about to explode, and then there's nothing. You don't fight. You don't fight for anything. It's like, well, all that energy was just wasted. It's the potential, it's the potential that's just bubbling up and waiting to just brew out, waiting to spill over, waiting to burst out of its containment. But you're not letting it. You're not letting it do so. Why? Your ancestors are telling you to crash out, basically. Your ancestors are telling you to raise hell. Your ancestors are telling you to fight for the thing that you want. Whether it's you want to be heard, whether it's, a raise that your boss just keeps snubbing you from, or a promotion that you keep getting snubbed from, or something like that. Maybe it's even you're fighting your own self for being a lazy ass because you just can't seem to just finish what you start. You can't seem to just, take in, just really sit down and like do what you're supposed to do in order to feel fulfilled. You can't get into this habit that you're trying to force. You can't, manifest this thing that you've been trying to manifest because you're too busy focusing on something else. And it's causing you to have this reaction, and instead of doing anything about it, you're not doing anything. You know what I mean? You're just sitting there and letting all this energy, be wasted. Sometimes you have to get angry. Sometimes you have to be mad and act mad. Sometimes you have to be assertive to get what you want. So all of this energy, all of this conflict or whatever, you've been keeping it at bay for a while. And now is the time, your ancestors are telling you that now is the time to let it out. If they wanted, a show, be a show, But a storm is brewing within you, and you have to let it out. Whether it's a Cat 5 hurricane or, maybe it's just like a little baby thunderstorm or something like that. Whatever it is, you have to let it out. And you have to see it for what it is. A lot of people are scared of negative emotions. And I'm going to move on soon, but a lot of people are scared of negative emotions because they feel as though they're taught that they are wrong. You know what I mean? And it's not so much that, you know, having a negative emotion means that you're wrong or you're a bad person or it's bad behavior or something like that. It's the way that you react to that negative emotion. It's the way that you deal with that negative emotion. That's the problem. You know, if you're going to start a war, make sure you're in the right. You know what I mean? Like, make sure that you're on the winning team. Make sure that you're, you know, making the right decision so that you can have the outcome that you desire, you know? If you get mad at your sibling, are you going to hit them? Maybe, sure, but that wasn't the right, you know, move. What was the right move? Talking it out, setting a boundary, you know, something like that. But if you keep getting disrespected, if you keep getting snubbed, if you keep, like, if someone's actively blocking you from something, you have to unblock that road. You know what I mean? If you want to go through somewhere, you either have to take a different path or you have to bulldoze your way down. You know, you have to bulldoze your way through. And so you have to create this conflict or confront this issue head on, arms ready, you know, and fight for it. Whether it's you have to argue for it and, you know, have all your facts down and blah, blah, blah. Maybe you have to get a lawyer, whoever, you know, whatever is the case. Or maybe just have to sit down with yourself and be real for a second. You know, you have to do it. You have to. And it's okay, again, to feel this negative emotion as long as you do something about it. And you do something, you know, like with like a thought out action has to take place, if you get what I'm saying. Don't just react to just to get this feeling out, but come prepared. You know, you started a war, you're not going to show up with like a knife and no armor. You know what I mean? Come prepared, come trained, come ready. And the star here is telling you that this conflict is used for your advantage. Creation is going to happen because of this. You know, all this rain from this storm is filling your cup, you know? It's causing your lands to be fruitful. And to like produce, you know, it's causing the you know, it's causing you to have like in a more abundance. You're pouring into yourself by letting this, you know, just spill out and over, and by doing something about it. So this star is telling you that, yeah, if you just trust in like, you know, yourself, have faith, you know, the stars are aligned for this outcome to happen, you know? Whatever you want will happen. But the thing is that you have to aim correctly. You have to, again, be very thoughtful about how you're going to approach the situation, but you do have to do something about it. And if you don't, that's a wasted potential. And again, everything is just going to fizzle out and you're just going to be in the same place. You know what I mean? It's time for you to use that potential. You have luck on your side. But if you don't use it, then, you know, you don't get anything. You know what I mean? And that's the issue that you've been having in general to begin with. You don't get anything. You haven't gotten anything. You have not seen the fruits of your labor yet. So what are you waiting for? You know, fight for yourself, advocate for yourself, and this action will have a good outcome if you do it correctly. So throughout all of this, we have to remember that, you know, part of loving yourself is defending yourself. You know, you can't just allow other people to go back and forth with you on your own boundaries or your own worth or, you know, how you do whatever it is that you do. You know, you can't allow other people to walk all over your own life and just expect, you know, like a different outcome. You can't just, you can't expect respect. You can't expect them to know what it is that you actually want from them. You can't expect that behavior to stop because you're not doing anything about it. You're not even bringing it up. And if you do bring it up, you bring it up as a joking manner. Sometimes you have to be straightforward and you have to be assertive, like cutthroat. You know what I mean? Stop being so lighthearted and tell these bitches what you really want. You know what I mean? Not to be so vulgar, but, you know, tell people what you want. Straight up. So I'm gonna pull an oracle card for you. But this is the energy that you have to have. You know what I mean? You have to defend yourself. Okay, let's see what we have. Offer me direction and exhibit my intention. My head is full of dreams, my existence a fantasy. So again, with this clarity thing that we're going on here, we have to understand that it's easy to make bad decisions out of anger. It really is. But when you use anger correctly, it's a powerful thing. You have to go deep within yourself, figure it out what it is that you really, really want, and use that, pull from that anger. You know, with, you know, mental clarity, pull from that anger and go get it. Anger can be a great catalyst, and it can get you what you want really quickly, but it has to be kind of like a sleeper agent, if that makes sense. You know, showing that you're angry, showing that you're mad sometimes can work against you, again, because a lot of people see anger as a bad thing. Or if you get angry at a person, it can be seen as if you are a bad person in return, but that's not the case, obviously. So you have to use anger in a way that most people don't, and you have to use it in a way that's secretive and assertive. You have to kind of use it as if you're being confident, as if, you know, they haven't crossed the line yet, which we all know that they've already crossed the line, or you've already crossed the line if you're dealing with yourself. They haven't done it yet, but if they do it, there's power in the if, there's power in the unknown. You know, that's the threat that they're afraid of. But they've already crossed you. We've known that, and we've known that over and over again. We've seen it over and over again, but you have to act as if the threat is imminent. You're not going to do anything to them right now, but the threat is there. And so whenever you're having this time to yourself, you're thinking about what you want from this outcome, what you truly want, and how you're going to go get it. Take into account how others are going to react. What's the best possible outcome, you know, the best possible situation that you can be in, and what are the consequences of you acting out. Take in all of that, create a plan, and move in that direction. Your ancestors are telling you that they're going to be there for you no matter what, and they will guide you, but you have to do the work, you know what I mean? Especially if you don't have that ear to hear them, or you're not really paying attention at all, because at this point you might not be, because you're like filled with, you know, emotion and stuff. You know, you just know that your ancestors are there, but you do have to do the work in order to get this outcome. This is a very good thing for you, don't get me wrong, you know, but it's one of those things where a lot of people just let it all fizzle out, and like they let themselves be walked over, you know, just because they don't like confrontation, just because they feel as though if they were to speak out, there'd be some sort of retaliation. And sometimes there is, but you have to fight that back too. You know what I mean? If you're sticking up for yourself, if you're setting a boundary, if you're trying to get something like through to someone, and they counteract with negativity, they counteract with like, oh, well, I feel a type of way about that, blah, blah, blah. You know, sometimes you gotta fight. you gotta fight back, and you have to be prepared to fight back. Be prepared, and trust and have faith that things will work out, and they will, okay? It's like, you have to, you know, have faith that things will work out, but you just can't, you know, go in with it like unarmed, you know what I mean? So, yeah, this is your reading, and that's a very beautiful message, and I hope that you are satisfied with that. If you have any questions, or if you want a more in-depth reading on this, be sure to book with me in the link in my description. And yeah, thank you. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And thank you so much for choosing me to deliver this message for you. I hope that it resonated. And if it did, please leave a comment and like the video. And I just love seeing you guys comment and stuff. So thank you so much for those of you who do. And yeah, I hope that you heard all that you needed to hear, but in the event that you didn't and you're just curious, or you just need a further explanation, be sure to book a reading with me. The link in the description below. All my socials are down there if you want to follow. And yeah, thank you so much for allowing me to read for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for being here.